All right, we call the meeting to order of the Finance Committee on Thursday, September 21st at 6:32. This meeting is being recorded. First order of business is Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did see Ann in the hallway, so we will give her a second.
Give her a minute.
We'll wait for you, Ann. Take your time.
I ran into somebody and they started talking to me about the 50th reunion, which is downstairs.
Oh, boy.
I couldn't go to that because it wasn't my reunion.
So I'll give you a second to open up your package here. So, we have some minutes that we need to approve. Hopefully everybody has all these. We have the minutes for the meeting that was held on May 22nd at the Shepherd Hill Regional High School. Does anybody have that? Anybody, let's take a look at anybody, is there any changes to be made for that meeting? I think John, you were there, Joan, and any changes?
No.
No.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion to accept those minutes?
I make a motion to accept these minutes.
Do you have those? This one?
Yeah, I got some. I looked at it earlier.
Made a motion to accept the minutes?
Second.
Second, okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. That one, let's see, I think. Next one was the June 26th meeting. Copy of that? That was our joint meeting? Any questions on that one? Any changes? Anybody want to make a motion on those?
I make a motion, we accept the minutes from the June 26, 2023 meeting.
Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Aye. All right, what's next here? We got the June 29th meeting. This was also a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen. This was the fun meeting, wasn't it? This was our fun meeting. I think it was, Anybody have any changes for that meeting?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes from the June 29th, 2023 meeting.
All right, is there a second?
Is there a second?
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
I think the last one is this, last one, September 14th meeting, last week.
Make a motion to accept the minutes of Thursday, September 14th, 2023, as printed.
All right,
Second.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. All right. Okay, minutes done. All right, so now we're gonna go back over the supplemental budget. Did everybody get the email that Michelle sent out? And everybody get a chance to kind of look over the revenue numbers and the kind of updated contingent A budget that was on there? It wasn't that much, it was just a couple numbers that were.
Yeah, we had merged the original article with the amended article.
Right, right. We have a couple department heads here, if they wish to speak upon their budget. Chief, whoever wants to come on up first? How you doing, Chief?
Good.
Good.
Well, obviously, I worked very closely with the town administrator and some of the other department heads to make sure that the police department is funded adequately for this fiscal year. Based on the adjusted budget of 1.809404, that's what I initially requested when we were talking about the override. So I would be okay with that number. And any excess money sent to other departments that are in need to make sure that they work throughout the year.
So this is enough funding for you to run the department for this year? Okay, no issues at all?
Not that I foresee. I mean, there's could always something come up. We could lose bodies. Somebody could leave, which could be overtime. Somebody could get injured. The cruiser could break down. So there's instances where there are costs, but as far as operational costs, that's what I asked for, and that's what I'll be looking for.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for the chief at all? Question for you, Jonathan.
Yes, sir.
How does this work with the override? With the police budget? Same thing, I guess a question will come up with the fire department too.
So we have the warrant in front of us, and I can kind of walk through how it's gonna work at the town meeting. It's Article 2.
That one.
The second page, you'll see another spreadsheet. What we would be looking to do, if you go all the way to the right where it says funding sources,
Right.
and so we'll use the police department for an example. The part of the motion that will be, it's been drafted by town council for you, Mr. Chairman, is to, as part of the motion for Article 2, is to rescind contingent A budget. You
Right,
notice it says
first.
at the bottom, rescind 10/16/2023. So now we have 0 funded for the police department, and the motion will be to approve adjusted final FY24 column, and it shows the funding sources, which begins with the entire amount of the override.
Yep.
189,347, which was passed on August 17th. So that's the first source of funding from 0, and the remainder of it is taxation. So the entire amount of the
Override's gonna
override
go into
request
the budget.
is the first part of the budget, and the remainder of it derives from taxation.
And so legal wants us to rescind this one, this contingent.
Yeah, if we went through remember, we talked about it, the 32 different possible combinations. For us to go back to contingent A and
Right.
start moving money around and ensuring that it was legally rewarded correctly so that the amount passed in the override was
If we-
proven to be put into that budget to begin with.
If the FAA recommends to rescind contingent A budget,
Yes.
and it's defeated, then where do we stand on
There's
this?
only one motion. It's rescind and it's essentially rescind and replace with, as one motion.
So we're gonna make a recommendation, rescind contingent A,
Actually,
replace it with the new budget.
yeah, and I can actually read the suggested motion. The suggested motion will be, Mr. Chairman, I move that the town approve Article 2 as printed in the warrant, including the sources and uses of funds included in the warrant under the column labeled 10/16/23, adjusted final 2024 budget, as recommended by the FAA, totaling $26,707,255, to defray the charges and expenses of the town, provide for reserve funds, and determine the compensation for elected officers for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023, including payment of debt and interest, and further to rescind the votes taken and appropriations made under Article 2 of the July 24th, 2023 special town meeting, Article 3 of the May 22nd, 2023 annual town meeting. That wipes that out and it
Right.
replaces it. in
Replace
one-
with a new budget,
With
right.
one fell swoop, so there's no confusion. Everything else is gone and it's replaced with this one.
Okay.
If it's defeated, we'll have town council there because
Well, that's
too hideous to contemplate. at
Right,
this
right. I'm just trying to heat off what could be, you know? Because remember,
I mean, if it's defeated, we'd still have the contingent A budget,
right. Exactly.
which is what we're under right now.
Yeah. Because we have contingent A, but our starting point with the override amounts was contingent B. Or what FAA recommended, right? So we had what was called the Armageddon budget. So override amounts start at the Armageddon, but once the 901 passed, we now no longer start at the Armageddon.
Then
we
we're at
start at
contingent A.
A. But the police department's override was 189, but his budget moves from contingent A to this budget of only, I think, 89,000.
So even though the override passes, it's in effect, we have to use it for the lawful purposes
Right.
it passed. However, we still need to appropriate it at town meeting. So it can't just be left out there. It doesn't automatically get put into a budget. It has to be legally appropriated at town meeting. So even if it were defeated, they still have to do something with it.
Would we have to come back? No.
Well, I would assume you wouldn't just defeat it and walk away.
Right.
We'd hopefully stay there for
Right.
the next 3 days if we had to get this thing done, but.
All right, I just want to
We
heat off.
will have town council, yes.
Right, because I'm concerned about people come out, they vote for an override of an X amount to support, public services, and that same amount's not appropriated for that budget.
In our budget, it is.
I mean, the
Yeah.
override amount technically is, but the overall budget doesn't go up that much. It only goes up 87,000 for
Well,
the
if
contingent
you
A.
put that in perspective, the amended budget had the full amount for the school in it.
In it.
From other sources, because we hadn't had the vote yet. So if that were the premise, you'd be adding almost $1 million more to the almost $12 million school assessment. I don't think
That's fine.
that would, you'd be adding on top of it. You have to appropriate it into the budget, and then you'd have to go through
Is
the
that
motions.
also,
make-
you got that same language in for the library and the,
Yep.
in the fire department,
Every one of
right?
them has been checked, triple checked, and
Okay.
the library is in there. It showed 370 was the amended amount in July. And the final amount is 381,473 with the total amount of the override question 297,528 going into it first, and the remainder coming from taxation to bring it up to 381,473.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for the chief at all, on his budget at all? All right, I'm all set on that. Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Dean, do you have anything you want to add, or anything for the fire department budget?
Well, do you have any questions about mine?
Well, as long as, this budget runs,
I mean, I kind of see what the administrator was trying to tell you. Like if I got, because the school passed and public safety passed, if I got contingent A plus my override amount, I would be at 1.6.
right,
But I only needed 1.4, so out of the existing budget, I give back
yeah,
161,000, I think it was, so they can use it for town hall and highway or something, or stabilization or whatever they want, so I only took what I needed, and,
when you're comfortable, you can run your department, no problem.
right, everybody's back to work, and, but I had a sheet here. The lines I put slight increases in were the, call firefighters, per diem labor, fire expense, ambulance call career expense, and gas and diesel. All the others were level funded or contractual, so it was just some of those that we ran short on last year, and we, obviously, we forewent hiring 2 more full-timers because nobody wanted that, so, but in lieu of that, I had to put a little bit more in overtime because of people's time off and stuff. I mean, I never have enough in overtime to cover the year. But we still went with the lesser amount, like I said, so that should make everybody happy.
Yeah, as long as you can provide those services, that's what everybody wanted, so.
We can.
All right. Any questions for the chief at all? All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Chief. Does anybody have any other questions for Jonathan on the budget? Or anybody else that's here?
Joyce Narichinski.
Do you have it? Anything? Nope? Okay. Any other questions for Jonathan? So Jonathan, you're looking for 26,707,255.
Correct.
All right. If no other questions, we could probably handle Article 2 here. Actually, we might as well go through all these
Yeah,
8 articles.
go 1 through 8.
Well, you don't mind, do you mind doing that? We'll just get,
If, I think that
all right,
we
so.
can get the FAA's voted recommendations tonight.
Yes.
we'll be in good shape.
All right. So Article 1 is just the recommendations, to hear the recommendations of the Finance Committee. Anybody want to make a motion on Article 1?
I make a motion that we will move to approve Article 1 in the warrant.
All right. We have a second?
Second.
All right. Does anybody have any discussion on that article?
No, it's,
No? Okay. Just a kind of a routine article. All right. All in favor, say aye.
yay.
All right. Any opposed? No? All right. Article 2 is the budget. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but so to 26,707,255. And Jonathan lists all the funding mechanisms for these. John, Article 2 is that, is that the motion? That's not the, oh, you got the motion on the back here, right?
Yeah, after the.
So I'm rescinding
spreadsheet.
first, right? It's recommended. What's appropriate in the.
And further, it's part of the motion.
Okay.
The further to rescind the votes taken in appropriations made on Article 2 of the July 24, May 22nd.
All right. So does anybody want to make a motion on Article 2, rescinding that May 22nd contingent aid budget? And moving-
Well, actually, Mr. Chairman, that has to be done by the town meeting.
Right.
So what we'll be looking for Article 2 is for the FAA's
just
recommendation to
budget?
approve the budget.
Okay, all right. So, anybody want to,
Yeah. I make a motion that the FAA accepts the budget for $26,707,255 to be presented at the annual town meeting,
And is printed in the,
as printed in the warrant.
all right? Anybody want to second that one?
Second.
All right, we got a second. Any more discussion on the budget?
I have a question.
Go right
About
ahead.
specifically about the motion. So, one of the things that we talked about last week was whether or not we needed to pull out specific things, like in the interest of transparency and all of that.
Mhm.
I can obviously see that the compensation for elected offices is like clearly listed on the breakdown. It's not, it's highlighted in the paragraph, but I would imagine that if we were to pull it out as separate articles, that would include the specific amounts
Yes,
and be
exactly.
more transparent, but I also think it would probably be more confusing. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that piece and.
All right, so Jonathan, adding adding those in as just separate warrant articles, I mean, that would be up to the
Well-
selectmen. I mean, it's the same, we're recommending the same amount of money, it's just.
I don't think I think, yeah, and we generally do that, but we're at three or four iterations of the budget at this point. It's clearly, like you said, it's clearly pulled out in the motion. It's clearly listed on the spreadsheet within the motion. So, and town council said you can do either or. I think maybe this is the way to do it, particularly seeing that we'll have to go back to the drawing board if we do another article,
Right.
so.
I mean, I tend to think that making it more streamlined is a little bit easier for everybody, like, I mean, I've been in town meeting, like, we start going through numbers and it's like, so, I think trying to tamp down a little bit on the articles that we're presenting is better, but I at least wanted to, like, point it out because it does seem like it adds transparency to have it as its own thing, but, I mean, I think the way that it's presented is as transparent as we can make it without doing additional articles.
I mean, during discussion on the budget, we can always, I can get up if we
Yeah.
wanna get up and, you know,
Everybody
let
has
everybody
questions.
know that those two items are in the budget instead of separate articles, so we can do that too.
Okay.
All right, is there any other questions on Article 2? All right, seeing none, call a vote. All in favor for this budget of $26,707,255, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, recommend Article 2. Article 3, unpaid bills. We got 3 unpaid bills totaling $6,073.26. Assuming this is going to be free cash payment. Webco 270, Boston Mutual 1106.50, and KP Law 4696.76. Does anybody have anybody want to make a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to approve Article 3 as written.
Okay, do we have a second?
A second.
All right, does any discussion or questions for Jonathan on any of these bills?
Is this the same $6,000 that was forwarded from?
No.
Okay.
From the original one that was passed over,
Right back in May.
yeah, we were able to cover that from,
Okay, okay.
this is, and Rich, step in if I'm wrong about it, Webco, I think, was double paid with one check, so that check was returned, and we need to reissue the payment. It was $580 or whatever, come $540. It needs to be a reissued check for $270 from last fiscal year. Boston Mutual Life, I believe Rich said that was one billing cycle that
Yep.
was
So,
overlooked.
so Boston Mutual, the town has 4 policies, and by the time everything got shaken out, we had credits on one, we owed monies on the other. There was one that was in question. So rather than relying on a vendor to send it back, it was a matter of getting everything sorted out. The money was owed, and it gets paid, so.
And then KP Law, the billing department, pointed that out to me this week, right? They sent this over this week. It was a bill that we overlooked. We went back and researched it. We hadn't paid it. We had an outstanding invoice, and so there it is.
Good.
That's why we've added it since last meeting.
She did mention at the last meeting that she would earn her money.
Yeah, well,
Certainly did. All right, is any other questions on the unpaid bills? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? No, I'm not that I'm opposed, I just said no. All right, we got Article 4, Water and Sewer Commissioners, unpaid bills of prior year. This is to the Northeast Geoscience for $8,600. George, do you got nothing to say on that one? Okay. Give us a quick little rendition of what this one is. Is this?
so I was hoping George would speak to this. This is not free. These are transfers within the, I can tell you these are transfers within the budget that's being
Right.
requested and not from free
Right.
cash or stabilization
Yeah,
or anything.
transfer from, is it transfer from retained earnings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Geosciences, they do our well work, explore new water sources, all that type of thing there, which we're doing a lot of right now. So, yeah.
All right. Article 5, the Agricultural Commission. Actually, we didn't take a vote on that yet, right?
No.
Sorry. Yeah, I already took a motion on that, right? Or didn't we not? All right, so let's take a motion on that. Anybody wanna
I make a motion that
Thanks, George.
we accept Article 4 as printed in the warrant.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion on this one? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Article 4, recommended. Article 5, Agricultural Commission. They want $1,500 for fundraising activities and events.
Yeah, this was originally deleted from the original budget.
Right.
It was passed over, yeah.
Passed
Passed
over.
over.
Out of free cash.
Out of free cash.
Make a motion that we approve Article 5 as printed in the warrant.
Make the amount of money too.
Okay, motion. I make a motion that the town approve Article 5 for $1,500 as printed in the warrant.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any more discussion on this? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, all opposed? So Article 5 is recommended, Article 6. All right. So we're gonna create an opioid stabilization fund and transfer $1,376.91 from free cash. Is that how we're doing it?
So, just a quick overview, the opioid stabilization fund is to receive money from settlement from a national class action suit. The Commonwealth receives a certain amount, and it's divvied up among the cities and towns. Permissible uses, I kind of listed out there, but it would be for things like if the police and fire needed to purchase Narcan, for example, or health programs to prevent drug abuse, so, that sort of thing. And I think we could also use it to help pay for a health agent in the future, if it's an ongoing source, or for expenses within the health department if they qualified. So I think we should pull this out. We've received some money to date. It's the $6,555.30, which we were just depositing into the general fund. We'd like to pull that back out in the form of free cash realized from last year and fund the account with that, as well as $1,376 that was deposited into the med project account, and that needs to come out and also be deposited into that account so it can be used for the intended purposes.
1,000 roughly? Is it?
Yeah. And that
What was
will
the
be,
med project account?
I think it's a grant account, isn't it, Rich? Or- It was deposit made into this medical project account.
210, which would be the police.
And so it's probably a grant for Narcan or related expenses, something like that.
Do we have a motion on this?
Okay, I make a motion that we approve the transfer from the med project account, the sum of $1,376.91, and transfer from free cash the sum of $6,555.30 to the opiate settlement stabilization fund.
They turn their karma into a period.
I just saw.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's,
Before
I just
somebody
did it.
loses their mind.
you know how many people are gonna jump up on that one?
Yeah.
And can I suggest a little bit more in the motion?
Sure.
And to recommend the creation of opioid settlement stabilization fund.
So I make a motion for us to transfer from the Med Project account the sum of $1,376.91 and to transfer from free cash the sum of $6,555.30 to make the creation of the opiate settlement stabilization fund.
Very good. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, all right, any more discussion on this, article at all? Any questions? All right, I'll vote, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? No? Okay, Article 7, we need to do anything with this, Jonathan, because, there's no numbers in here.
Yeah.
Should we wait till you can have a number for us for any of this?
I think, Mr. Chairman, you could recommend the deposit as a sum of money from free cash into both stabilization and capital improvement stabilization. And then when I have it certified, I can give you the exact numbers for the night of if you feel.
I mean, we can do it either
I'll
way.
actually have it ready in the motion for you.
We still have to add a number, so.
Yeah, and the motion will have those numbers the night of.
I mean, does anybody want to make a motion to approve the transfer of free cash into these stabilization accounts, even though we don't have a number yet, and we'll just kind of clear that up on, our meeting?
I mean, it would be fine to approve the concept of depositing free cash into stabilization. And then we'll have the meeting, we'll have the exact numbers ready for you to vote on the night of.
Great, I'd like to make a motion to, what am I doing? So, sorry, I'd like to make a motion to put a sum of money from free cash into the stabilization account and a sum of money into the capital improvement stabilization account,
With
as
the-
written,
Or you could say with the amounts to be provided.
with the amounts to be provided.
As part of the motion, the night of the town meeting, that'll work.
As part of the motion. Thanks.
Very good. Do we have a second for that?
Second.
All right, any discussion on that? We'll have a little bit more discussion on the night of the meeting. All right, all in favor of sending the money over to stabilization, say aye. 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 Any opposed? All right. Almost done. Article 8, water and sewer, we're gonna transfer $845.74 from the F-450 sewer truck account and transfer $1,692.94 from the sewer video camera account to the sewer retained earnings.
So, Mr. Chairman, those are both articles that were left over
Yep.
from the purchase of a truck. There was, what was it, $845 left over, and
Yep.
from sewer video camera, same deal.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to approve Article 8 as printed in the warrant.
Second?
Second.
Need a second. Any discussion on what this is about? Seeing none, we'll call vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, Article 9 is another water sewer. Transfer of $160,000 from the sewer retained earnings account to the sewer operating expense account for purposes of paying the Webster Sewer Department for the Webster True Up.
Every year there's,
George.
I'll give you the down and dirty,
All right.
George can fill in the blanks.
All right, go ahead.
Dudley pays Webster to process our sewer. And I believe that the same amount was charged several years in a row.
10 years in a row, it's been the
How many
same.
years, 10?
About 10 years in a row, so.
So obviously, prices have increased, and,
We've given a lot
made the
more
adjustment to the
process.
bill.
So-
They never made the adjustment to the bill. They recently, the commissioners met with Webster. This is the true-up number.
What was it, how much were they charging us before?
I can't give you the exact number because I don't have enough folder here, but what I can tell you is, for 10 years, we have been at a stalemate price, as you want to call it. The commissioners have finally had to make contact with Webster to find out what's going on, and what, because you can't stay that way forever. And instead of avoiding a possible major increase, they got into negotiations to update everything, and this would include something like indirect costs, operating costs, things like that. So right now, this is what the number they came up with for a resolution, and they're going to be working with them in the future to continue monitoring this year by year, make sure everything is where it should be.
So 160 right now?
Yes,
and it's-
right. And just to let you know, we have installed certain safety, call it safety protocols for our side, as far as meters on skater and that, so we can monitor things a lot more carefully, because we don't have many eyes over there right now on that. So certain things are being changed out, so we go ahead and we can hire our own contractor to go in and check everything out to make sure everything looks proper and good. So we have some things on
What
our
is it,
side.
charged by volume or something? or-
Yeah, so.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for George? Might as well stick around, George, because we got one.
Yeah, I think it,
Any questions for George at all? Anybody want to make a motion on this? Anybody?
Make a motion, that we transfer the sum of $160,000 from sewer retained earnings to the sewer operating expense, for the purpose of paying Webster Sewer Department for the Webster true-up.
Okay, we got a second? We got a second. Any discussion on Article 9?
Mr. Chairman, for what it's worth,
Richard?
462,000 was the 2023 number.
How much?
$462,000. It's a monthly installment.
Okay, so you're saying 160 a month now? No.
No, he's saying 160 is a true-up for a 10-year period, $16,000 a year, so your math is
Oh, okay, all right, yeah,
16,000 off the
yeah.
462,
Yeah, no.
and it's a,
Okay. Scare me there for a second.
What, 60 a month?
Yeah, see you later.
I quit.
Bye. Happy for the horse here, Rich. Man, jeez. Wow. Okay. Is there any more discussion on this? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. And the last one is see if the town will transfer $250,000 for retained earnings to this, what's from retained earnings to the sewer engineering for the purpose of design and bidding services for Potash Brook Interceptor.
So, as everybody is aware of, the sewer department has had a lot of issues with sewer going into the streets at times during major rainstorms. The I&I program has alleviated a lot of that. However, there's a couple areas of concerns right now. One, and I'll just mention real quick, one is going to be a more involved situation, but the pipeline heading to Webster Sewer through Progress Ave down towards Chase Ave, the pipe is irregular sized, has a lot of hard bends in it. We have major backups and major rainstorms where it comes up in that pipe and actually backs into West Main Street area. We have another concern area which we're working on, and this is part of that situation, is to identify some infiltration that keeps coming in from the Nichols College area up in that side, which is all private up there. So in conjunction with Nichols, we're going to start exploring that part of the game and see if we can alleviate some of the pressure coming down from that hill. Right now, there is a sewer moratorium for anything west of the fire station, okay? The issue with Potash Interceptor is a larger fix, takes a longer time period. But this other area, we're trying to see if we can alleviate some of the pressure from up there and maybe open up the door to put a couple more houses on here and there as we go. But this is all part of the infrastructure issue that, like the water, that's just been cans kicking down the road. And now the DEP is cracking down on all this now. So we've got the first major project, part of it done with the INI. We have to move into this phase now to see if we can fix this problem here and lift that moratorium as soon as we can. So this is coming out of our retained earnings to start the engineering.
This isn't a piece of equipment or anything that goes with it, right?
What's that, Mike? I didn't hear.
This isn't a piece of equipment or anything.
No. This is all the engineering and stuff that's done for me. You have to do hydraulic models and stuff and cameraing and smoking, and there's a lot involved into trying to identify problems, so it's gonna take a while.
Okay. All right, anybody have any questions? No? All right, anybody want to make a motion on this?
I'd like to make a motion to transfer $250,000 from retained earnings to the sewer engineering account for the purpose of design and bidding services for Potash Brook Interceptor as warranted.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a second. Any discussion on this article? Richard? Don't scare me now.
Mr. Chairman, is this a capital item?
That's what I just asked. He said, no. I don't believe it is, right?
This is
Service.
engineering services.
No,
That's-
this is for engineering, not a capital item.
Yeah, but they're.
But we still need to take it out of a retain to do it, so we still need
It's
to.
not a matter of borrowing, it's a matter of putting it on the plan. I understand the source of funding, and it's not gonna get a review by bond counsel, but you're going to borrow X amount of dollars to go through and repair something to minimize, you know, the inefficiency of it. That's,
Well, you're right, but as far as FAA is concerned, we can,
you can approve it, absolutely, this is just,
but to cover ourselves, if, I mean, would it be wise to add it to the capital plan?
I think when it comes up again, sure.
I mean, this is just the beginning,
Right,
late stage
yeah.
of this thing. We don't even know how far we're taking this. I mean, we're just, just beginning to do the engineering part of this and all that. We've got two areas that we have to look at right now. You prove at least we have the money and the retain to do it, and that's what we need to start doing now, as soon as possible.
And Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna look tomorrow, because I think last time we did a warrant, there was a question about engineering requiring capital improvement review, and I think town council said it didn't, but it doesn't, you know, if we wanna add it to the plan, we should probably
I would probably say, and I'm not wearing my capital improvement hat right now.
Yeah.
But it probably would be wise to get some of this on our capital improvement updated plan, so we have kind
Well,
of.
this is gonna carry us into the springtime anyway, as far as this part goes, so it's that time when we do in the springtime, we get a larger sum of the works going on, then we can, of course, approach the capital improvement about
We
that.
do that, we add that.
We'll definitely add it to the plan, and I'm gonna look for that email too, so we can clarify for future reference. But there, but
'Cause I know when
distinctly
we were
remember-
doing all the other stuff, we did have a lot of engineering, and we put it all in the capital plan, because it had, you know, a lot of stuff involved, so we did put it in the
Yeah,
capital.
I don't even know what to call this yet, because there's gonna be an official name of it, similar to INI. But right now, we're just, starting from points where we wanna try to identify what's going on. That's what we're doing right now.
Is that okay, Rich? I mean, we're not really, he's not buying a piece of equipment, so that's, and then over 20, we're not, I mean,
I'll argue, because
but I'm
a
not,
sizable portion of what the water has borrowed has been engineering, whether it's an SRF plan.
what's your suggestions?
Oh, it's a comment as a tangent to the FAA's approval or not approval of it. It's a compliance issue.
Oppose the FAA approving the transfer?
Absolutely not. I'm saying in addition to, there should be something, just.
Yeah, and I
It
think
should, everything should be automatic. If there's ever a controversy on something, you'll rest assured that it received approval from capital, even though it wasn't immediately necessary. That's just how I'm looking at it, because I'm the person who's making a telephone call to Michelle Jervis saying, did you have the minutes? Was this approved when it was approved? And the motion stating, so hoping to get a little of the housekeeping done well ahead of time.
And it'll be good to clarify that, Mr. Chairman, too, I agree.
Should we then, ahead of our next meeting at Shepherd Hill, should we have a 15-minute capital improvement meeting?
We can.
And just add this on, just to add it on?
Let me do my due diligence
Yeah, all right.
tomorrow.
If necessary,
Figure it
let's
out.
put it
Yeah.
on.
It doesn't, I mean, if it's gonna make
I don't want it.
compliance easier, we can certainly put it on there. There's no harm in it.
I'd love to put bond counsel to sleep, that stacks of.
Okay, that's
of
fine.
minutes all in order without question.
All right. All right, we did have a motion on this, right? Second, is there any other questions for this? Second. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Yeah,
Aye. Any opposed? No opposed? All right. Thank you. Very good. Miscellaneous. Anybody have anything they want to bring up? Going into the next meeting?
Mr. Chairman, do we want to, seeing that we've done all of our work here tonight, we want to take the 28th off, the 28th
Yeah, we
off
have a
the-
scheduled meeting with the joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen on the 28th. I mean, we've already gone through our recommendations, so, does anybody feel like we need to meet with the Board of Selectmen at all?
I don't think they're gonna change anything on us.
I don't think so either. So, I will,
So as long as everything remains intact on their meeting on the 25th.
the only thing we
we'll
have
pull
to
it.
make sure we do is, on that meeting, is the amount of free cash. We'll put in that Article
Yep.
7, and that's.
As soon as we get that certified, I will call you, Mr. Chairman, myself.
We, also, I kinda wanna bring this up, maybe we can do this at our next meeting. We've lost one of our members and added a new member, and we haven't reorganized.
It's the game of old maid, Mr. Chairman.
We haven't reorganized, so, I would like to put on our agenda, to reorganize. If anybody would like to, interested in chairing, or vice chairing, or being secretary. I'll entertain anybody that wants to attempt that, but I'd like to put that on for our next meeting, okay? So. Other than that, any other miscellaneous items? Right, anybody wanna make a motion to adjourn our meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn our meeting.
A second? All right, got a second? All in favor, say aye. Aye, all right. All set. See you guys at, town meeting. Thank you, George.